even though it was 2,500 years ago or more. And it seems to be the beginning of history in our minds. Human beings have been around for thousands of years before the Greeks, most notably with the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians. What makes the Greeks unique, however, and why the founding of Western philosophy in this time and place was, for the first time for a culture, that the gods didn't mysteriously create the world and operate externally from our physical world, or from some immaterial mystical plane of existence. No, for the first time ever, gods and the ordinary Greek citizen lived together on the same plane of reality, which led naturally to questions about how we came to be here in this way and how we can figure out how to lead a good life. In ancient Egypt and other early civilizations before the Greeks, people simply followed the dictates of their religion. Perhaps rules set down from their god Anubis, and this made them feel good. It was largely unhelpful for developing ideas about why we're here and what we're here for. It was simply God made us, God commands us, God changes things that we will never understand, so don't even bother trying. That idea was enough to keep our lives busy. By contrast, the Greeks now live lives that even their gods were bound by the same physical laws in. Greek gods and the philosophies that later evolved there were totally materialist, made up of processes and rules and matter, not magic. Greek people grew up believing in a world that had physical rules and consequences for breaking those rules that could be understood and explained. So, the field of philosophy was born. Over time and with many contributing authors, philosophy migrated into all the other aspects of our lives and our deaths. A really scary concept for materialists became, what was the end purpose of it all? If we are trapped in a materialist world that even the gods cannot escape from, then one needed to spend time thinking about life with the end of your life in mind. Imagine the panic that comes when one is really, really old, realizing that you might have missed your purpose decades ago, and your life has been a waste. So from the first philosophical ideas about how to live a good life, the most obvious question arises, why am I here? Then, like now, people don't get to that place very often, because we're interrupted, bouncing between putting food on the table, affording clothes, making decisions about how the student council should be run properly. This course, PPE, then, is designed to integrate the big philosophical question of why we're here with trying to understand the rules of how to gain as many resources as we can and how to divide them up properly. Because that's all economics is. The E in PPE, economics, are the rules surrounding how to gain more resources for oneself. And that's all that politics is, the second P in PPE, the rules surrounding how to divide up what we have amongst an ever-growing number of people on the planet. Throughout history, and including today, there is always one more demand and need for things than there are resources to satisfy them. To paraphrase one of our philosophers, Thomas Malthus, food and resources grow linearly, whilst population grows exponentially. So we are never able to keep up with demand. So you too can avoid coming to the end of your life not having tried to understand these principles for living a good life with purpose. PPE could be a very good option for you too. Feel free to join us by subscribing to this podcast series.